Orcl going into earnings tomorrow after market. And pretty nice looking chart here. If you look back at all time, going back since the beginning, we broke out. We were in a channel here for quite some time. Um, Consolidated here for the last several weeks. And there's a couple things to note here. We had this chaotic candle here, and I'll talk about that here in a second. What I want to see on a chaotic candle is that price comes back, tests the 50, moves up. If it breaks the 61.8, we have an 85% chance of it coming back to 88.6, which is considered support. 88.6 is not a Fibonacci level. Neither is the 50, right? The 50 is always going to be talked about because it's the bell curve of a certain trend that I'm covering. So the first thing I want to look at here are my potential targets to the downside and upside going into earnings. And so a couple things to see real quick. I bet looking back here that these candles tested 88.6 of my chaotic candle. But before that happened, I want to see did it come back and test the 50 and bounce and so forth. Just something I do. So we're going to go up to this pivot high here right there. And yeah, and so you'll see price came down to the 50 the first time, tested that and bounced. And remember, if we're in an uptrend, we expect price to bounce at the 50, stop underneath the 61.8. Had a hard time there, came back, tested the 61.8, bounced, and once broken, then we expect the 88.6 to be tested, and boom, just like that, we got the test of the 88.6. So in considering this candle and say institutional buy here, we've brought it back several times and bought it up, which tells me on a bullish note that it's time to go higher. Okay. So we are, if you're into moving averages, we're above all, the 50, the 8, whatever you want to cover. We're above those and we're at all time highs, right? Pretty much. Um, what we can expect here is a move back into the box perhaps tomorrow before the ER, and that would put us roughly at 51.52 is where I'd look to be getting long if I'm bullish. And I'd be shooting for targets here of up to 56 on T1 and T2 being 57.99. And of course, these are great beats here, right? We're looking at $52. Uh, this would be $4, $5 up here. So you're looking at, anywhere between I'm gonna say 6 to 10% on this move. On the downside, again, so we have this buy zone that we found here. It is somewhat authentic as price has left, it has not come back. But looking to the left, we have created some buy zones. So this is kind of a replica, if you would say, not necessarily authentic. So if it wants to come in here, I do expect price to drop into the zone. I would say 23.6. Okay, so I'd be looking at $50. Now that's not much of a move, right? That would put us at like maybe 5%. But so my T1 on this is going to be roughly in this 50 to 61.8, which also puts us at $48. Okay, so that gives me an expected move again that makes sense to the upside here. All right, and remember, if you're new to follow me, I find these by zones, not by guessing. So if this is, $4 here, I don't just come down here and go, okay, where's $4 at? This actually lines up with some of my methodology going into earnings. And then on the downside here, we could expect price to come back and test the control low. So you could say 45.96. Okay, would be your backside. If I'm going into earnings, very risky. I'm not going for T2. Okay, that doesn't make sense for me. I'm not going for lottos in this case. I want to make money. So for something like this, if it's such a small expected move of anywhere between 2.5 to $5, I'd probably feel more safe going out maybe just $1 at the money. And depending on which direction you want to go here, if it does hit T2, then you're going to be really happy depending on what direction this decides to go. All right, but all signs are pointing to more of a bullish note here. consolidation and moving up. As a disclaimer, price can move sideways, all right, and burn theta on both ends.